It is Wednesday, October 21st, 2020. It is 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and so you know what time it is. It's time for a little bit of coin metal. And it was yet another non-virtual get your ass kicked at Jiu-Jitsu Wednesday. Actually did just a teeny tiny bit of kicking ass today. I did get in my one round. I haven't bumped it up to 2 rounds yet. Just trying to break it in. You know, still moving forward though. Today I managed to finally do a little bit of offensive thinking when it came to my jiu-jitsu today. And as a matter of fact, I came really close to pulling the move that we were actually working during class, which is like a first for me. But we were doing a sweep, a flower sweep, and then navigating that around to an armbar. And I never got it around to an armbar, but it was funny because the gentleman that I was rolling with, initially he had been trying to get me in a Kimura. Or no, not a Kimura. I'm sorry, a guillotine choke. And he was kind of close, but the fact of the matter is that I wasn't ever really threatened by his attempt. And the reason being is because as soon as he got his arm down like he was going to go to a guillotine, I grabbed his wrist. And so it was one of those things where I was able to control the one wrist and keep him from closing out a choke. But so yeah, I went from that to actually getting him in a guillotine, and then I think I almost got him in a what was that, an Americana. I almost got him in an Americana, and then we, like I said, we did start we did a thing from the full guard to where we're going into a flower pass, and then from the flower pass to full mount, and then from full mount to like an arm bar or something to that effect. And actually, we were working from full mount to a back take, and I actually got him around to the back take, and I was working for that rear naked choke. I actually got the arm under his chin. It's just I wasn't able to close it out before the bell saved him. But it was a good roll. It was a good roll. I'm not going to lie. He was very, very good on his defense, and I felt a couple times like he was really, really close to getting out of what I had him into and pushing forward on me. So I was like, trying to prevent that from happening. But yeah, it was a good roll, and I did actually pay attention a little bit, or at least enough to remember to give him a good compliment, because he was very, very defensive, and he was very good on his defense, and he was able to slip out of quite a bit of stuff that I was throwing at him. So I'm not going to try and take anything away from his performance. It was definitely pretty good. But yeah, I felt a little better on my rolling, a little bit tighter, and that's been a little bit of a challenge for me. Because I kept having like injuries, just like one after another, and I keep getting to like this certain point where like my jiu-jitsu is flowing freely, or starting to feel like it's flowing freely, and I'm navigating really easily, and I'm not as stuck on being defensive, more equally, spending time between offense and defense. And I feel like I'm starting to get around to that again, and hopefully I can avoid getting up to that point where I just get injured and end up having to go all the way back down to where I worked up from. But yeah, altogether it was a really good class, and I'm kind of brief on exactly what we covered today, just because we didn't cover a lot of different things. We tended to stick with just the flower sweep and like a couple little additions to that. And honestly, I'm quite all right with that. I could care less if we did just 2 moves and just repped them for an entire fucking hour. I could care less. You know, it's more for me the exercise of trying to become proficient at it, and that's a matter of repetitions. You know, it's instructions and repetitions, instructions and repetitions, corrections and repetitions. You know, it's just working it into that body memory, you know, and making it to where it's nice and tight and fluid at the same time, and relaxed at the same time, and yet tense, and not letting them out. Very inflexible. And I think that was one of the things I screwed up on with my opponent when I don't think I got him into that sweep. I think somehow or another I just managed to get to his back with the body triangle. But I might have actually done the sweep. I'm not 100% sure on that. Either way, I got really close to what we were doing in class, and it seems to me like I did manage to get to the full mount, so I must have swept him. And I know that I did the body triangle, because there's like a part on it where you go from being in full mount to navigating it around to a body triangle. Now, I don't know exactly how I got from one to the other, but I did make that transition. And I don't think I was able to lock down the legs entirely correctly, because he kept trying to put my foot in between his legs and go for something like a ankle triangle, my favorite move, or one of them. But I was keeping my feet in such a position where he wasn't able to get the ankle triangle. And really, for the ankle triangle, you got to put yourself all the way over to one side and get your foot ahead of their foot. You know, but you got to get their foot down first before you can, you know, you got to eliminate the places that the foot can go that you can't get a hold of it. But like I said, he was able to force it down, but like by squeezing his knees together, he was trying to get both of my feet, because I was crossing my feet, but I was just crossing them at the ankle. I didn't have them like fully crossed, you know, and so the idea of pulling one over the other and then, you know, squeezing it between your legs, it wasn't working out for him. But anyway, yeah, I had his back pretty good, and I was retaining the position of having the correct arm around his neck, and I actually did have it under his chin. You know, basically the only thing that saved him at that point, I think, was the bell. I probably would have navigated him around to back around to his back, and tried to set it up again in the event that it didn't go through the first time, or just arm triangled him or something like that. I don't know. It was a good class all the way around today, though. I felt really, really tight and really fluid and really relaxed by comparison to Monday. And I know that it's just a matter of familiarity and continuing to force myself to at least get in that one round of 5 minutes every class, at least one. You know, I think that pursuing that is going to help me improve my game, and so hopefully I can avoid any serious injuries that stop me from that forward progress. But anyway, let's go ahead and throw down with some music. And you know we're going to start with Body Count. And I'm feeling it today, man. After rolling so tightly and so much on my own terms, and it felt like more on my own terms, where I was able to keep control of the situation for more of it than last time. And so here it is, Carnivore by Body Count. First Dance here on Coin Metal. And that was Iron Maiden with Flight of Icarus. And so, as far as what we're going to get into today, I did a little digging around. And there was something I wanted to cover on Monday, and we just never got around to it because we were too busy reading the white paper that I have yet to post that, although I will. If you've noticed, I managed to get kind of caught up on the old episode thing, and so I think I'm uploading it now, or I have uploaded it, and I just got to edit one or two things, and then I'm going to post that white paper, and it was for Theta. It was an interesting sounding project. Whether or not it'll succeed, I have no idea. Anyway, it doesn't seem entirely like a scam, although I can see a couple points in it where I think it could possibly be gamed. But that's just my perspective. Anyway, I got this thing here. It's on Coindesk.com. And we're going to take a little step back just because we have the capability to view from, a little bit of perspective here, And so on Coindesk, Filecoin launch finally brings 200 million ICO to fruition. Now, just to make something clear, as I recall, because I was here when it happened, one of the very first altcoins was called Filecoin, and I can't remember if it was like the first generation of altcoins or the second, but I mean it was like 2013, 2014 whenever we started off into altcoins. Filecoin, or the name Filecoin, was used for and I believe it was a proof of work coin. I think it was a fork off of Peercoin. I'm not 100% certain on that. It might have been the other way around, that it was Bitcoin, and then Filecoin came out, and then Peercoin forked off of Filecoin, or Filecoin forked off of Peercoin, like it was Bitcoin, Peercoin, Filecoin. I don't know. Anyway, point being is the name has been used on a project before. I don't know if this has any relation to it or not. But anyway, this is authored on October 15th, 2020 at 14:55 UTC. And this is by Brady Dale and Sebastian Sinclair, so double penis. The Filecoin network pivoted to mainnet at block 148.88 or 148,888, or approximately at 1444 UTC. With that, its FIL tokens will begin their distribution. Filecoin is a system from Protocol Labs meant to be both a decentralized file storage and content distribution network in one. The Filecoin team wrote in a post announcing the transition. The block number 4 mainnet launch signifies, quote, prosperity for life in Chinese, chosen, quote, to honor the epic contribution by our Chinese mining community to Filecoin's long-term success. The new token is very likely to make history as the fastest newly live blockchain to reach a market capitalization of over $1 billion, though we can't really know until the FIL tokens enter trading. It should be noted that tokens distributed today will basically all be subject to a vesting schedule, so only a very small portion of the total supply of 2 billion FIL in the Filecoin system would count as circulating. Block explorers currently show a circulating supply of 10,396,586 as of 1445 UTC. FIL futures are trading at $55.63 according to Crypto.com right now, which would place the market cap at around $578 million. The circulating supply at launch should be much smaller than the 200 million tokens sold in the 2017 initial coin offering ICO, making for a vastly smaller market capitalization by convention. Despite multiple delays, the Filecoin project has attracted considerable attention, particularly in China, where investors have been speculating heavily on the network's mining hardware and the FIL token. CoinList leads. CoinList's Scott Cato contends the first market to actually have FIL tokens available for purchase will likely be CoinList Pro. The launch of Filecoin is itself a milestone for CoinList, a company that was spun out from Naval Ravikant's Angel List to manage the gigantic token sale for Filecoin, closing in September of 2017. The token sale ultimately raised over $200 million, the largest ICO to that point. Quote, that was one of the most anticipated launches or token sales in 2017. It took them a long time to go live. I think that's partly because they took their responsibility really seriously, Cato told CoinDesk in a phone call. Quote, it's finally here, and it's one of the few, in my personal opinion, one of the very clear use cases for blockchain. Those interested in following along with Filecoin in its early day should first keep an eye on it. One of its block explorers, Filefox, is one such explorer. It shows block height, the number of miners, the top miners on the network, and the total amount of available storage on the network. Filscan is another. Quote, there are many folks already announced as early Filecoin users, and still more to come next week, Filecoin's Ian Darrow told CoinDesk via email. Filecoin dApps. Of announced projects, one example is Slate, a personal storage service that uses Filecoin and IPFS. Textile is another, which has evolved into a set of developer tools for managing storage from where it started, as sort of decentralized Flickr. In past months, quote, Space Race Testnet Sprint, 360 miners participated globally, increasing the network's data capacity by 230 pibobytes. What's a pibobyte? There was a final prize pool of 1.5 million FIL tokens. Ecosystem. CoinList is playing a key role in the distribution of FIL tokens today, managing 55% of the distribution for all of the ICO participants who did not indicate a self-custody or external solution for the distribution, Cato explained. Quote, given that CoinList will have the majority of the initial supply, in all likelihood CoinList Pro will be the first to list. Fake IOU platforms may try to be first, but those are not backed by real tokens, Cato wrote. Pardon me. CoinList's custody partner is Gemini Custody, which is basically Goldman Sachs. Oh, I mean, I should be clearer on that. Goldman Sachs has their hand up the Gemini twins' asses. You know, they have a lot of money invested in Gemini, and as a matter of fact, I think they're like Gemini's regulatory proxy, where, you know, they tell Gemini what they have to do to maintain regulatory compliance, you know, to give the right smell to the SEC and the CFTC and all those organizations. Anyway, continuing on. Individual FIL buyers are using solutions at Coinbase, Anchorage, and others. Multiple exchanges have promised to list the FIL token, as Decrypt reported on Wednesday. CoinList said that number is likely to rise. Cato estimated that around 3,500 entities will receive FIL tokens. There were a little over 3,000 in the ICO and several hundred more that came through the incentivized testnet. Cato said that anecdotally there has been a stunning amount of inbound interest for buying FIL leading up to the mainnet launch. This launch marks the latest in a string of products going live as described from the highest quality ICOs, a trend that arguably started then when the Brave browser first started feeding ads to users last year. Filecoin's purpose is to store real data in safe and complex ways. It's still incentivizing technical entities to get in early. It's currently running a contest for storing real data called Slingshot that will remain live for the next several days. And we'll right-click on that bad boy. When the ICO era was controversial for its large number of scams, the best-known token sales have largely delivered their promised products. See, for example, Status, Tezos, Bancor, and EOS, as Shapeshift founder Eric Voorhees noted on Twitter. Yeah, interesting. So yeah, I've never really been interested in FIL token, but that was interesting. A little more in-depth information on them, and currently I'm on FIL Fox. Kind of interesting. Currently the block height is 167.767. Last block was 13 seconds ago. Network storage power was 616.73 PIB. Active miners is 552. And block reward was 11.1187 FIL tokens. I wonder what their average block time is on here. Let's see here. 24-hour average mining reward was 0.2437 FIL to TIB. And let's see, 24-hour FIL production was 152,682 FIL. Current sector initial paid or pledges. Oh, let's see, I guess there was just a block. So that was like, I want to say their block time was around like 40 seconds, 30, 40 seconds, somewhere around there. That's a good block time, although, let's see, I'm looking through their miners, and it would seem at least one of them is Chinese, I guess. But yeah, interesting. It is a live project. I don't know what it is as far as, who can get involved. But it doesn't look like it's a really monstrous network. It's only got 553 active miners on it, so yeah, might want to check it out for something to mine. Let's see here. So now I'm on Slingshot's webpage, and Slingshot is a community competition for storage clients and developers that rewards the storage of real, valuable, and usable data onto the Filecoin Space Race network testnet. The more real, valuable, and usable data you onboard onto the Filecoin network, the more FIL you earn. Let's see. Total number of storage deals is 461,765, and the average deal size is 1.6 GIB. Whatever GIB is, the GIB and TIB. I have no idea what that means. Figure maybe rounded. Interesting. So the current prize pool is 50,000 FIL. and the stakes are high. Interesting. I guess it was like $55 for FIL when we were checking on it. But anyway, so I wanted to read that article first, because then I came across this one. And so here we go. Filecoin users or miners go on strike one day after mainnet launch, prompting early reward release. And this is authored on October 19th, 2020 at 1:25 UTC. And this is by David Pan, so yes, penis. Filecoin, a decentralized storage network launched by Protocol Labs, is off to a rocky start after a strike by miners just one day after its highly anticipated mainnet launch on October 15th. 5 of its largest miners turned off their machines to protest the project's, quote, unfair economic model that requires a significant amount of FIL tokens to start mining operations, according to a report by 8btc.com. Huh. Why don't we have a link to that? Let's fix that. Let's see here. Paste. And we'll look for Filecoin on this website too here. Oh, well, no wonder. It's because it's in Chinese. Okay, so we managed to translate it. Okay. Here we go. Oh, damn it. Shish kebab. There we go. English. Bastards. Okay. Always, yes. Okay, and so let's go back to that previous article. We'll finish with that, and then maybe we'll come back to this thing. Let's see here. Scientists, billions, CEO, biometrics. No, that's not it. Damn it, Jim. Lost it. Here we go. I think. No, that's not it. We found the new article. Yeah, there we go. So, Jihu Cloud, one of the top 5 Filecoin miners, has more than 8,000 interplanetary file system mining machines, yet only 276 mining machines were running on Saturday, while the other 4, including mining company 1475, generated even less storage mining power, the report said. It's still off, too. I mean, there's only like 515 miners on there right now. Continuing. So, apparently they have 8,000 interplanetary file system mining machines, and yet they're only running like a tenth of that, apparently. English, yes, there we go. Filecoin miners strike. Let's listen to what the head miners and officials say, and this is on 8btc.com. This is by Wang Zhizhan, and it was authored on October 17th, 2020. And so here we go. On the evening of October 17th, a report spread in the circle of friends, the 5 leading miners of the precedent group collectively shut down to demonstrate. For example, Zhen Hyun has dropped from more than 8,000 mining machines to 276, and the equivalent of 4 other mining machines, such as 1475, has been 0. The mining machine equivalent of Space Cloud has also dropped from more than 1,000 last night. What? I guess 11,000 last night to 1,870 now. And it's got to be even less than that. It's even less than that now. We checked their network stats. They're down to 500 miners. Many companies choose not to increase their computing power. On the other hand, Lai Chuang, the initiator of the IPFS Chinese community and the chairman of Space Cloud Technology, wrote in a circle of friends, quote, "The mainnet is online and all the miners are stopped there. It's really not a so-called demonstration. It is helpless. Do mortgage mining. Stop stupid XPL, head of protocol laboratory, stupid X economic model. Filecoin's economic model is not good for miners. This is already a certainty before the mainnet goes live. After the mainnet goes live, the problem has reached the point of survival." We interviewed several head miners. Let's listen to what they say. Why do miners strike? Whose cheese did the Filecoin agreement touch? Before showing the miners' ideas, let's first understand why Filecoin's economic model conflicts with the miners' interests. Filecoin mining needs to mortgage Filecoin's token FIL. This mortgage mechanism is divided into two parts: block reward mortgage and pre-mortgage. The block reward mortgage means that the block rewards obtained by miners will be unlocked in a linear release 180 days, or within 180 days. So miners can only get the full reward after digging the block 180 days, and the disposable FIL obtained in the early stage of the block is very small. Pre-mortgage means that miners need to provide FIL for mortgage before encapsulating sectors to ensure that miners can complete the promised life cycle of the sector and will not harm network security due to short-term benefits. This purpose is to keep miners online for a long time, and the shutdown of the miners will greatly harm the experience of storage users. Here comes the problem. However, today miners actually have a lot of mining machines, but not enough FIL. This makes miners who have been preparing for years have machines in their hands but cannot mine. Of course, miners can go to the secondary market to buy FIL to mine, but there is a question of whether it is worthwhile. Currently, the price of FIL in Huobi is $45. Previously, Jianhe Systems CEO and founder Zhang Rihe mentioned in the live broadcast of 8 questions that the Filecoin economic model is still possible from the original intention, but there are problems. Quote, "No matter how the economic model is changed, the general principle is that miners must earn more tokens than they spend on the average value of the entire network for this economic model to work well. If the cake is not cut properly, the project may become yellow." I don't understand this slang, but apparently that's like a direct translation to English. This is very serious. The problem. Regarding the current situation, Zhang Rihe also reluctantly laughed at himself. Quote, "The prediction is in progress." On October 15th, the effective computing power of the entire network was 566.9 PIB. Today, this data is 589.6 PIB. Therefore, from the data, the growth of the computing power in the past 2 days is indeed quite slow. The miners have nowhere to go. Listen to what the head miners and Filecoin officials say. They do their spacing really weird, so like they'll break a word right in the middle and not add a dash at the end of it to show you that that's what's happened. Anyway, continuing. On this issue, Babbitt interviewed a number of Filecoin head miners. They say so. Star World CEO Jean Xiaoming, my apologies, believes that the problems encountered by the miners are obvious. The current economic model cannot make the miners run their full computing power, and the miners have no money to buy coins, so the network power growth is slow. Currently, Interstellar Continent will use some of the released tokens for mortgage mining every day to increase computing power. Quote, according to Filecoin's economic white paper, this is the result. I am not surprised at all. In the previous space races, the number of FILs that needed to be purchased was not large. Those who did not run well must also want to participate in mining, so they will buy when the currency price is lower, he believes. Assuming that the price of FIL is less than $20, many miners will buy FIL and then pledge to mine. Zhan Jiaoming believes that the current way for miners is to wait for the official revision of the economic model. Quote, in the future, miners and project parties will have a game process until the two parties reach an equilibrium point. If the official does not modify the economic model, then the miners will continue to slowly increase computing power until the mortgage equilibrium point is reached. This time will be slightly longer. It takes 3 months. Then miners need to communicate well with customers, and there is no profit for 3 months. Zhan Jiaoming also mentioned that there will be an FIP 004 next week, which will release 25% in advance, which is relatively friendly to miners. After implementation, it should reach about 80% of the full speed. Quote, now most people choose not to grow, but sell directly, feeling that no one dares to pull the offer now. Lei Chuhong, chairman of Space Cloud, said, quote, my apologies on that anyway. If the situation continues, miners will have to buy coins at high prices in the secondary market. Obviously, it's not worth it. In the current situation, community consensus may split, and the project may be worrying. When 1475 founder Andy answered whether he really went on strike, he replied no. There was an economic model, so there was no way to buy coins to increase computing power. The implication is that they have no intention to increase computing power now. Xianhe System Zhang Rihi replied, quote, the customers of Xianhe Technical Support have different computing power growth strategies, and some do not increase, some increase, and there is no shutdown strike. We just execute the customer's instructions. In response to the large-scale opposition of miners, a member of the protocol laboratory finally released a message in the evening. He said that they'd heard the voice of the miners, and he suggested that the miners pay attention to the proposal of FPI-004, which is a specific proposal that can solve some concerns. Quote, only if we cooperate, the network can get better. Whether to take special improvements is up to the community. Generally speaking, if people with ideas for improvements can help build them, this ecosystem will get better. Note, Okay, yeah. Alright, so... Man, that was tough. And let's read some of the comments, because, this is a Chinese website, supposedly. Chinese miners just see the immediate benefits and want to dig and sell, get back their money quickly, and then take their blood and leave. And there's no identity on that. The next one, there's no identity on either. The best way is to lend to the miner so that the miner can't get it out, and then directly deduct the mine that is released every day, and then dig the FIL to pull the offer. This way, there will not be a large increase in the disk. When the miners are finished, basically the project has been a long time and the contribution has been reached. The miners will sell the ore. More Token Community says, please express your insights. Let me see if a mouse over will help. No. God damn it. They don't give us an ID for a lot of these people. Why does Starland Jen Xiaoming have mortgage coins? Instead, it proves that they run better. Chinese miner were cut leaks by the United States, and the previous node cutting leaks would not work. I don't understand what that meant. Interstellar content, Mao Yang passing by. Blockchain Ontology says the economic model is also considered for the entire system and should not be formatted from the perspective of interest driven. If you don't have money to buy FIL, then you don't need to dig. The truly revolutionary system reform will always be won by some people rather than capital gains. And the market doesn't really prove that to be true, dude. Oh, let's see. And to put it bluntly, it is a cloud disk project in the name of decentralization. It is enough for ordinary people to store mobile phone or cloud disk. The price of 2 to 5 yuan is expensive, and the price is just a few hundred yuan. You can buy a 500G mobile hard drive, which is destined to be a niche application market. The current price is waiting for the pickup of the leak. The price of 2 yuan cannot be higher. Haha. Yeah, I'm not familiar enough with Filecoin to be able to make a definitive statement on its economic model, but we're going to scrounge around and we're going to see if we can find the white paper for this business. But in the meantime, I want to throw back down to some music and let's see where to go. Played some Megadeth last time. We haven't played Metallica yet, though. Gotta fix that. And so scroll. And so, I haven't played anything off of their last album. So let's go with that. Hardwired by Metallica here on Coin Metal. And that was 6th. Tokyo Lights. As far as where else we're going today, actually I wanted to follow a little bit further up with the Filecoin business. I actually did find something that we can digest, at least in the remainder of this episode, and still have a little bit of room for other business. And this is on medium.com. Robert Greenfield the 4th. So yes, penis. Simplifying the Filecoin white paper. And this was authored on August 25th, 2017. So basically when the ICO came out, which is quite a while ago. Here we'll quickly break down what Filecoin is and the system's consensus protocol, potential vulnerabilities, and projected future state. all straight from the white paper in a way that we can understand. You can have access to my annotated version of the white paper here with notes included, and we may do that at some point. What is Filecoin? Filecoin is a decentralized storage network that turns cloud storage into an algorithmic market. The market runs on a blockchain with a native protocol token, also called Filecoin, which miners earn by providing storage to clients. Essentially, Filecoin is the Airbnb of data storage, a peer-to-peer based exchange that accepts asks and bids to settle decentralized data storage transactions on blockchain. Filecoin works as an incentive layer on top of IPFS, which can provide storage infrastructure for any data. It is especially useful for decentralized data, building and running distributed applications, and implementing smart contracts. Filecoin system basics. There are 3 types of entities in the Filecoin system. Client. Pay to store data and to retrieve data in the DSN via put and get requests. Miners. Storage miners provide data storage to the network. Storage miners participate in Filecoin by offering their disk space and serving put requests. To become storage miners, users must pledge their storage by depositing collateral proportional to it. What? Retrieval miner. Retrieval miners provide data retrieval to the network. Retrieval miners participate in Filecoin by serving data that users request via GET. Unlike storage miners, they are not required to pledge, commit to store data, or provide proofs of storage. What kind of work do they do, I wonder? Clients pay a network of miners for data storage and retrieval. Miners offer disk space and bandwidth in exchange of payments. Miners receive their payments only if the network can audit that their service was correctly provided. Filecoin Consensus Protocol. Verified Market Protocol. Order matching. Number 1. Participants add buy orders and sell orders to the order book. Number 2. When 2 orders match, involved parties jointly create a deal order that commits the 2 parties to the exchange and propagate it to the network by adding it to the order book. Settlement. 3. The network ensures that the transfer of goods or services has been executed correctly by requiring sellers to generate cryptographic proofs for their exchange/service. Number 4. On success, the network processes the payments and clears the orders from the order book. The Filecoin protocol is a decentralized storage network construction built on a blockchain with a native token. DSNs aggregate storage ordered by multiple independent storage providers and self-coordinate to provide data storage and data retrieval to clients. Filecoin is a protocol token whose blockchain uses a novel proof called proof of space-time, where blocks are created by miners that are storing data. Provides a data storage and retrieval service via a network of independent storage providers that does not rely on a single coordinator where, number 1, clients pay to store and retrieve data, number 2, storage miners earn tokens by offering storage, number 3, retrieval miners earn tokens by serving data. 4. Uses proof of replication, PO-REP, A novel proof of storage which allows a server, i.e. a prover P, or the prover P, to convince a user, i.e. the verifier V, that some data, D, has been replicated to its own uniquely dedicated physical storage and proof of space-time, where a verifier can check if a prover is storing her/his outsourced data for a range of time. 5. Filecoin mining power. The amount of data stored per miner is proportional to active storage. Filecoin usability. Clients can select replication parameters to protect against different threat models, and clients can eventually retrieve data from miners. Potential vulnerabilities. Sybil attacks. Malicious miners could pretend to store and get paid for more copies than the ones physically stored by creating multiple Sybil identities, but storing the data only once. Outsourcing attacks. Malicious miners could commit to store more data than the amount they can physically store, relying on quickly fetching data from other storage providers. Generation attacks. Malicious miners could claim to be storing a large amount of data, which they are instead efficiently generating on demand using a small program. If the program is smaller than the purportedly stored data, this inflates the malicious miner's likelihood of winning a block reward in Filecoin, which is proportional to the miner's storage currently in use. Deals are time-boxed and become invalid, but malicious clients could DDoS specific miners and hold their storage up for its TS through now periods of time indefinitely. Interesting. Given that clients will essentially need to strategize as to how many pieces they're bidding to be assigned to M number of sectors, and those pieces need to be encrypted, there seems to be a need for something to help manage bids and data encryption before transacting on such a network. Level of encryption and sharding of data is somewhat undescribed. Seems like clients can opt to store their data in one place just by bidding for one piece, instead of breaking up their data into multiple pieces. Leftover inquiries. Is there any guarantee of zero storage faults given a certain amount of requested replicas? Is the collateral necessary to become a storage miner the Filecoin token as well? What? Is the collateral necessary to become a storage miner the Filecoin token as well? If so, how is it initially obtained given token sale limitations? Will investors have Filecoin naturally select to transact on the network? How is the piece data storage request transacted, and are those size limits to how big a piece can be? Isn't it dangerous to put one piece on a sector, data storage miner space at all, if it's encrypted? I don't know. When sectors are sealed, closed due to inadequate leftover space on the storage drive, where is the replica stored? Are network assignments of pieces to sectors random? Are clients storing the hash of their data in another database, given that they might have billions of pieces given the size of each piece and assignment? What type of computational resource does being a retrieval miner entail? And where is the off-chain order book held, and can this be altered? Oh man, that's an interesting one. I gotta check something really quick. Got this notification, hello, but yeah, alright, yeah, whatever. There we go. Fix that. Back to what we were doing. Potential future state and application stack. Off-chain settlements could incorporate the feeless structure / support of IOTA Tangle at scale. Potential to create smart contract-based APIs that work within the specified Filecoin put framework, querying encrypted data even. Potential of Filecoin blockchain being decentralized off-chain storage of other blockchains like Bitcoin. Could even call smart contracts in storage and execute on another blockchain like Ethereum to avoid gas fees. Interesting. And so apparently, yeah, that was the long and short of it. And it seems like this is a how do I put it? It's a mutual attempt of multiple different projects to create decentralized data repositories, basically, places that people can put data and people can earn money for storing that data, but in a completely decentralized manner, in which case, the owner of the data might not necessarily know the miners who are storing the data. Where it gets tricky to me is that you have two classes of miners, and that in itself, or multiple classes of miners from what we were reading there. Let's see, a storage network that turns cloud storage into an algorithmic market. The market runs on a blockchain with a native protocol token called Filecoin, which miners earn by providing storage to clients. Essentially, Filecoin is an Airbnb of data storage, a peer-to-peer based exchange that accepts asks and bids to settle decentralized data storage transactions on blockchain. So, from different angles, it seems like, at least to me, that there are attempts to settle this, to where you have little repositories where you can be storing data and not necessarily, transaction data or anything like that, but, you could be doing something like having a contract on Ethereum using this as storage for any records that are associated with it. And I mean that kind of stuff is really neat, and I'm sure it'll be in wide application later on. The trick is in this off-chain stuff. I mean, because if we're not talking about something where you have all of the participants involved, having a final state of the transactions at any one point in time, the monetary value that is being represented in those transactions, while it's in an uncertain state, could be double spent. And this is a trade-off I think a lot of these types of projects are going to experience. Whether it be in who can provide the most stake, to where you have really rich whales who are the ones that are running all the validators because they can do all the voting because they have all the money, or just poaching. I saw something here on Cream. I guess there's something going on where the Cream token was collateralized, at least partially, by this volume of supposed swarm tokens on a market, and that sustained the value of the Cream. But in the meantime, the swarm token is being routed right now, and so the value that was replaced by the swarm tokens, which was 50% of the collateral that was put up under Cream, is basically being snatched out the back door by swarm. Nobody's talking about what happened to the volume of monetary value, whether it had been in Ethereum or whatever that was tied up in the cream that was replaced by the swarm. And so it seems like, a 50% rug pull, like more like a bank robbery, honestly. But yeah, a complete rug pull, except they're only going for 50% of the money, right? Shit. This is what you get when you don't participate in mining and you rely on tokens that are built on top of other people's work. And I suspect we're going to continue to see these until people figure out that that's really what it is. It's like you're reintroducing this trust risk. You experience the wreck that comes with that. And so the obvious conclusion will be from that experience that you can't really trust somebody else to do the work for you. And that you have to dedicate some sort of hardware, whether it be a node or a miner or whatever, some sort of hardware to these networks where you have a direct interface with the blockchain and the relative settlement state of the funds involved in the transactions that you're involved in. But it's funny to me that a lot of people these days are taking like this victimhood perspective on it, and we were typically hearing about this shit from other people that were involved in these projects way before we were hearing about them on fucking news articles. And I would posit that it's been the chilling effect of many social media networks such as Twitter and Facebook that have gone through extensive efforts to silence OGs and early adopters of this technology, because they have their own little roadmaps that they have in mind that they want to force everybody on, and the less anybody else knows about any other options, the better, right? The problem with that is that we lose the sensitivity, we lose the market sensitivity when those entities, those people that are directly involved, are kicked off of social media networks. Those are very important cues to us in this market where we're able to contact other people directly through social media in a very public, very open way and say to one another, hey, these motherfuckers are selling these tokens. They're laughing about it on Discord. They're laughing about it on Telegram. There's some private group on Slack that are talking about this shit. And those signals would get out, and we'd have an opportunity to react before we got completely fucking wrecked by it. I mean, personally, I just look at the white paper stuff. If it's still in existence 2 or 3 years after its initial launch, that's usually a pretty good sign. It's not necessarily a seal of approval or like a default seal of success, but it is something. It shows that somebody is using it, or at least somebody is putting money forward for it to continue to exist. So it means it's worthy to somebody to do. It's all about incentives, kids. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw back down with some music. And I've been wanting to play some Faith No More. And so here it is, Falling to Pieces, here on Coin Metal. And that was Textures with Oceans Collide. I was going to let that run to the end because, we're about there. But I came across something that seemed kind of interesting to me because we were talking about this coin today. And while I was bumbling around looking for something else, I came across this. And it's on news.bitcoin.com. And this is by Terrence Zamora. Filecoin founder accuses Justin Sun of spreading lies about FIL tokens as fresh dumping allegations emerge. This is just getting better and better. Juan Bennett, founder at Filecoin, is attacking Justin Sun for spreading completely false accusations about the movement of the FIL tokens soon after listing. In his long Twitter rebuff, Bennett accuses Sun of spreading lies with the intention of harming the Filecoin project financially. Calling the accusations ridiculous, Bennett says no one from the Filecoin team sold the FIL token on the day of listing. Juan Bennett, sadly it appears that the kind of thing he did to Tron in the past, so he seems to be projecting. Unlike Justin, our team has integrity and care for the communities we participate in. Let's see, Justin Sun is a known bad actor in the crypto community. Just read the recent profile on Verge. And yeah, we didn't go into that. Soon after the FIL token went live on many exchanges, Sun unexpectedly tweeted, alleging that Benet and others at Filecoin had exit scammed. This follows reports that the Filecoin team had dumped 1.5 million tokens on some exchanges. Sun alleged that the community had not been informed about the transfer of tokens to exchanges. He went on to encourage the United States-based FIL token buyers to report the matter to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. The Sun Filecoin hard fork theory. However, in a long Twitter thread in which he also responds to the other allegations against Filecoin, Bennett speculates the motives behind Sun's attack on the FIL token as he writes, quote, "My guess is that Justin plans to fork Filecoin as well and hopes to trump up a reason. Sorry, Justin, you're nobody's savior." Benet, who uses an expletive to dismiss Sun's allegations, reminds his followers about his controversial takeover of Hive. In March, reports emerged that some prominent community leaders of Steam, possibly dissatisfied with Sun's hostile takeover, were hatching a plan to hard fork. Eventually, the hard fork occurred, leaving Sun without access to the developer's reward. Meanwhile, continuing his attacks on Sun, Bennett warns Filecoin miners against supporting any such hard forks, saying, quote, "Look at the history of projects associated with Tron and confirm you want that, and you may become the victim of a huge pump and dump scam. Good luck." Bennett, however, admits that there are questions about some of the unvested FIL sent to some exchanges. Still, he insists that these, quote, "were not sales of FIL from PL or any team members." Bennett explains that the elaborate steps taken by the Filecoin team to stabilize the token, quote, "in the early days after launch when the prices are at risk of being volatile." The FIL token, which had opened at $200 on some exchanges, lost more than half of its value in the first 24 hours. At the time of writing, the token had lost further ground and was trading at $30. New dumping allegations. However, as Bennett insisted that no token dumping had occurred, fresh reports emerged suggesting that even more FIL testnet tokens were moved to exchanges and sold. Explaining these events as they occurred, one Twitter user, Crypto Chris, says, quote, "Basically, miners dumped their testnet coins, crashing the price, then complained they should change the locking schedule since more supply was on market. Filecoin had to accept the miners' proposals, and 25% immediately unlocked. How did testnet coins become real? Was there a code bug? In the long thread, Crypto Chris G explains why he thinks miners are not as innocent as they have been portrayed. The user concludes his analysis by stating, quote, miners aren't victims of the Filecoin team releasing coins early. Instead, he says, quote, they played this great, pulled huge profit from testnet coins selling for real dollars, then crying wolf to gain more. And let's see, Crypto Chris G says, so where did that extra 26.5 million in FIL come from? Those were testnet coins made real by miners. Miners aren't victims of the Filecoin team releasing coins early. They played this great, pulled huge profit from testnet coins selling for real dollars, and then crying wolf to gain more. Soon after listing, Filecoin miners went on strike, alleging the ineffectiveness of the economic model used. However, in his own thread, Bennett dismisses the reports, while claiming that miners are, quote, following protocol and making a ton of money doing so. However, in comments that appear to corroborate Crypto Chris G's account, Bennett says, quote, there are many people hoping to get rich quick with Filecoin without contributing value to the network. That's just not how it works. That isn't what the protocol rewards. Fucking dude, that's how the market operates. You may not like it, and you may be kind of delusional about it, but that's how it works. People want Roy. So, yeah. I don't know. I get the impression that there was more to this FIL coin debacle that we could have been covering that for whatever reason I didn't have immediately available to me. But in any case, I think we roundly covered this business. You know, I guess there's some miner out there or a group of miners that have a significant number of mining machines that they are not currently mining with. And to my knowledge, these machines are pretty much dedicated to mining FIL, because I don't know anything else that works on the fucking IPFS, interplanetary file system, I guess, or Filecoin system. I don't know, IPFS or IFPS, or I don't know. Point being that there aren't a whole lot of other coins, I imagine, that work on this. And so, what are they going to be dedicating those machines to otherwise? I couldn't say. Anyway, let's go ahead and close out this episode. Thank you very much for listening. I certainly do appreciate the support. We will be back again on Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and so until then, I want y'all to trade safe. Do your homework. And watch out for your own bunghole, because nobody else is going to do it for you. And as far as our last dance is concerned, I have not picked anything out. But I'm sure I can figure something really quick here. Let's see here. Gosh. You know, I got Killing Joke playing in the background, but most of their songs are way too long for us. But I think I know one that will fit just fine. Let's see here. Where's it at? And there we go. Killing Joke, Loose Cannon, Last Dance here on Coin Metal. Thank you again for listening, and you all have an excellent evening. Good night.